Literary competence and the ruling classes. Back in the 19th century, Emily Dickinson wrote, "Tell all the truth, but tell it slant. Success in circuit lies. Too bright for our infirm delight, the truth's superb surprise. As lightning to the children eased, with explanation kind, the truth must dazzle gradually, or every man be blind." Apart from fancy vocabulary and insufferable attitude, what do you get from a literature major? Admit it, you did not expect a simple and direct answer. Ask a simple question, get a complex story. It's maddening. No wonder Plato wanted poets kept out of his ideal republic, though of course he continued to read them for himself. And why did he? Why won't Emily Dickinson just tell the kids the truth about lightning and let it go at that? Why do apparently bright people spend so much time and money on lies, on things that other people just make up? And why do so many of those people appear to be having more fun and acquiring more good things, joy, knowledge, wisdom, friends, power, money, than other people are? It's obviously a conspiracy. So what is the point of all this circumlocutory and colliginous persiflage? Those are obscure words, and I shall not tell you what they mean. If you do not know what they mean, you will have to find out for yourself, and you will have trouble with colliginous. I'd recommend the Oxford English Dictionary. That is just the point. The skill, the virtue, what Aristotle called the excellence or arete, that you develop in your reaction to this harmless annoyance and your search for these easy meanings, will be part of the skills, strengths, and excellences you will need in the rest of your life, in which the meanings are more important and harder to find or figure out. Frank Kermode, for example, argues that when we are reading literature, we are making sense, in his words, of the ways we try to make sense of our lives. Now, one could argue, of course, that since literature and life require the same interpretive skills, one should simply ignore literature and learn from life, since experience is, after all, the best teacher. Even in the 16th century, however, Roger Ascham knew what was wrong with that argument. The trouble with experience as a teacher is that too many people die from it. At the cost of an arm or a leg or a life, experience teaches us some rather simple things. Be careful. Read the instructions. Pay attention. In such representations as literature, we can learn more complex lessons without going broke, losing our love, or dying the first time out. A tolerance for error rarely available in the simplistic and murderous school of experience. We could never experience directly, moreover, more than a small fraction of what we can engage indirectly through these representations. Perhaps for that reason, as Barbara Herrenstein Smith observes, quoting her, those with cultural power, and commonly other forms of power as well, are those with competence in a large number of cultural codes. For the last 2,500 years or so, the ruling classes have acquired competence in those codes through a literary education. Now, in a democracy, we all have at least the chance, at least in part, at least some of the time, to rule ourselves. So we all need and will benefit from that education for ruling. We need to become like Polymatus Odysseus, that man of many measures, better able to take the measure of the world and then, in our own phrase, to take measures to better our lot and the common lot within it. One way of doing so is through the interpretive skills we gain by reading literature. Jeffrey Hartman argues that literary texts afford us instruction and practice in the arts of interpretation. That, quoting him, the capaciousness and excitement of interpretive reading can be taught, and that teaching slow reading to others, to lots of others, can transform the elite mystery into a conscious endowment. the power of that endowment increases exponentially. The more we know, the more we notice. The French philosopher Simone Weil has suggested that the only serious aim of education is, in her words, to train the attention. We must learn to pay attention, we must learn to see, we must learn to learn. And we do that less through prepackaged conclusions than through the circuitous pursuit of truth suggested by Emily Dickinson. Static data and information are necessary but not sufficient. If you want to read well and to rewrite and reshape the story of your own life, you will need to learn the pleasures and skills waiting for you in the well-written fictions of others. You are in for a treat, and you haven't a moment to lose.